Hi, Phyllis. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me over to your humble abode here in Astoria.
Yes, I'm glad you just came over, hopping and skip away.
And we're surrounded here by toy pianos and keyboards and all kinds of little banging things.
Yes.
And all in your apartment as you get ready for the Toy Piano Festival.
That's right.
UnCaged Festival this week. A few weeks back, we had a little special on your most recent record and gave away a few copies. And can you tell us a little about your recording background, your releases?
Okay, great.
Bring us up to date.
Yeah, so that record, Little Things, is my third toy piano album that I've released of solo toy piano music. And it features 7 different pieces that have been written for me in the last 4 years. And it uses a bunch of toy instruments. One of the tracks uses an instrument that was built out of clock chimes by Nathan Davis, and some electronics and other sort of gadgets that are really that just makes for, I think, a pretty eclectic mix of music. My first album was released in 2007, and that has, I think, the Suite for Toy Piano by John Cage.
Mm-hmm.
So the first piece ever for toy piano, 2 pieces that I wrote, and a collection of other pieces that were written for me that I would consider like canons of the toy piano repertoire, if I can even say that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if it's been around for 10 years, it's made history for the toy piano. And my second album, Mesmers, is just a miniature album featuring just solo works that I wrote for toy piano, bowls, and music boxes. So that's the 3 solo records I have out, and I'm working on releasing an album right now with Cuddle Magic, the band Cuddle Magic, that's supposed to be out on Valentine's Day, and in their style, and also one more album that I'm recording now of music that I wrote for toy piano and chamber music for International Contemporary Ensemble.
Right.
So all of that will be coming up next, but yeah, it's been really, really amazing to record on that instrument. So.
And you mentioned Nathan Davis before, and
Yeah.
you guys have had an association with ICE and with the other Mozart's sister, right?
Yeah, that play that by Sylvia Milo. She is the performer and writer of this one-woman play, and Nathan and I wrote the music together for that. That features a lot of miniature instruments and toy pianos and bell-like sounds.
Music boxes.
Music boxes, yes, a prominent instrument in that one.
Absolutely. So great, always interesting work. And how long have you been doing the UnCaged Piano Festival now?
So in 2007, I started doing a call for scores. Like, I was looking for all this toy piano music, and then I was like, I think if I just make a call for scores, all this music will just come to me. And
good idea. Have a festival, and you have a whole bunch of music to play.
Right, there you go. But we didn't start doing the festival until 2011. Before then, I would just perform the music that I found, but it just hit a critical mass. There's been so many pieces sent in. And I really think there's been a movement. There's some new performers and older performers as well that play the toy piano, and New York City is a great place to be doing this. So I decided to put together our first festival in 2011, and it was 3 concerts in 3 different venues like this year. And we played to 3 very boisterous crowds. And so I'd like to believe that people are responding to this little instrument and come out and are interested in just seeing something they've never really seen before. So,
and of course, what's great about it is it's as wonderful as the toy piano is. It's not just the toy piano.
No, it's not.
It's combinations of things with the toy piano fits in with other instruments, and it's arranged differently.
Yeah. So this year, the theme is toy piano and unconventional instruments. So all of the
as if the toy piano was not an unconventional.
I know, but it needed to belong to a family anyway. So there it is. And it was interesting. Some of the submissions we got, which were very thought-provoking. One of them, which we're not doing, but I feel like it's worth mentioning, was a piece for toy piano and power drill.
Okay.
And I thought it would have been interesting, especially if somehow you were going to be drilling the piano, but that wasn't part of the piece. So this year there's going to be quite a lot. There's a few composers that you are making homemade instruments. So the winner this year actually is making a plastic organ and a harp. And both of these instruments, they're not actually played by hand, but they're actually played by wind. So we're turning on fans and it's making it vibrate. So bring your coats. you know. And, you know, I guess I'm going to be up there in my coat as well and playing my toy piano part. But really, I do kind of manipulate the wind for this instrument, so it sort of changes the sound of the instrument. So I'm really taking on a new role as a performer. I'm definitely not a keyboard player anymore.
You're a wind
Not only
manipulator.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, we have a sound pendulum. Someone built like a pendulum that's a little bit like a feedback pendulum. Another piece for toy piano and zither. Someone wrote a piece inspired by Alice in Wonderland, and it's for like a chess set and a teapot and toy piano. So there's one piece where a woman's going to be coming in on a tricycle and playing the spokes of the wheel. So I think it's going to be pretty versatile. I also, you know, want to press the point that, you know, it's very interesting and it's novel, but there's some things that are just downright beautiful, and it's hopefully not just a circus act, but there is that spectacle aspect for sure.
Right,
Yes.
and that is the wonderful thing about seeing any of these performances is that it is always sometimes they're funny instruments.
They are.
Sometimes the performers are humorous themselves. A whole bunch of things happen here, but the music is absolutely beautiful. But to really appreciate the whole thing, it's something you have to see.
Yeah. I hope so.
So it's happening right like this week, right?
Yes,
Phyllis?
it starts on Thursday. It's kicking off on Thursday, December 12th at 7 p.m. at Pianos. That's our kickoff party.
Which is where?
The Lower East Side, 158 Ludlow Street, and Stanton, I think is the cross street.
Okay.
Friday at Harvest Works. It's a special event for the composer that received the prize this year, and he's playing a whole bunch of his homemade gadgets and electronics, and that's over at Harvest Works. It's free at 7 p.m. And Saturday at the Domena Center of Classical Music at 8 p.m., which is on 37th Street between 10th and 11th Avenue.
Okay, now we just went through a bunch of information. Where's the what's the website, Phyllis?
Yes, the website is uncagedtoypiano.org, where you can get all that kind of information.
Okay, so this way people can check out the shows, and I think there are still some tickets available, but you definitely want to make sure you get some. So go online and check it out. What made? I mean, all the stuff you get, all the submissions you get.
Yes.
For pieces, is there something that just says? I mean, on a given day, could it be somebody else who wins? Do you know what I mean?
You'd think, but I mean,
Something just strikes you?
maybe. I don't know. But actually, you know, I think no, because I think that we're looking for someone who has a perspective on the instrument, and somehow the combination of the toy piano with the unconventional instrument, there needs to be a reason why that exists. It can't just be like just because, you know.
Right.
So I think at the end we're still looking for something that is thoughtfully put together, and it helps to have 3 judges, and
Okay.
Surprisingly, our opinions don't differ that much about it. So the sort of top 5 or 10 ends up being about the same across the board. So
who are the
it
judges?
helps. So this year we had Margaret Ling Tan,
Of course,
who's
been on the show before.
Oh, good. Okay, and just a fabulous toy pianist, and composer John Glover, who is also in the city here. Yeah.
Wow, that's a good combination.
Yes. Yeah, and their insights were definitely valuable. I needed that help. Yes.
Okay. So who's the winning composition is going to be performed by itself, right, on a given night? What was that?
Right.
Did you say Friday?
Yeah. Well, actually, so how it works is we have a winner from 2012 and 2013, since this festival hasn't happened in 2 years.
Okay.
So the winning piece of 2012 is by Lucas Ligeti, a fantastic composer and percussionist, and his piece is being played on Thursday night at Pianos.
Okay. Which is also the opening reception, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay. And then the new piece written by Anthony Marasco is being premiered on Saturday at the Domena Center. However, Anthony is performing a duo show of his own sort of improvisations on his own instruments on Friday. So there's a little bit of something.
It's a mix on and off every night. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And also, you know, someone who was on the show recently, Alexa Dex, is also performing at your... she's very entertaining.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have her. I feel like she's going to add a new dimension and a new perspective to the festival that we don't usually have. So I'm really excited. She'll be performing Thursday night.
Right. During the... that's great.
Yeah.
So is it... Do you find it... Because you're always, as a musician... mixing it up. You're not just playing the toy piano, obviously, and you're not just harnessing wind, but you're also, you play the bowls and you play all of your little music boxes. When you're composing, do you does the idea come to you first? Are you noodling around and then it comes to you? How does that work for you?
I think with the toy piano, it happened naturally because I fell in love with that instrument. And now, as a composer, I think I'm still waiting to fall in love with something.
Okay.
And yeah, it's interesting. I've talked to different composers about this, and Anthony, even talking to Anthony about his process of writing this piece, it's so much of the concept is developed before he actually starts writing notes down. It really is the final act. But for me, I think just that sort of looking around and looking for, I don't know, maybe it's like being a single in New York, I don't know, but it's like I'm looking for something to finally just connect, and usually it's a sound more than anything else, a sound or a very simple concept that I think has the potential to be explored, and it's usually something that I don't feel like I know a lot about, so there's a lot of room to play.
So you explore.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's hard to write when you're really focused on the final outcome. So if you're in that place of exploration, you're more likely to find something, and then, well, the theory is that, in my head, is that then you'll end up with something right, that otherwise you didn't know that would be there. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it always strikes me when I have seen you perform over the years is that you have so many quote unquote found objects, like your bowls, et cetera, et cetera. And I've always been one myself. You go into a hardware store, you bang something, you like the sound of it. For example, with the bowls, did you decide to use bowls, or did you just come upon banging a bowl in your cabinet?
It literally was, I came upon banging a bowl in my cabinet. And, before, I remember there was like a large, this was back in college. I mean, I don't even remember when that was, but it was like a bowl and a Carlo Rossi bottle. It wasn't classy. And between those two, it was the bowl that sounded better. And I was like, oh wow, there's so much potential in this. And that really just led me down a whole other road. But it's also it's interesting because percussionists, I feel like, play a lot of found objects all the time. But I think it's a completely liberating thing to come from playing the piano, where it really has been such a focused sort of instrument, and then all of a sudden you just get this other palette of sound, and it's a lot more tactile, to like look at this object and you can understand how it resonates and how it makes sound. So I think the toy piano, in a way, it looks like a piano, but maybe it is a little bit more like a percussion instrument in that way.
Pianos are really all percussion instruments.
Yeah.
But of course, when did you discover Cage? Because he's probably one of the keys with modifying piano sound.
I guess early college, maybe my first year of college. Yeah. Felt pretty natural,
right?
To to be playing and being and thinking about those approaches and reading all of his philosophies, and I mean his writings are just as interesting, if not more interesting, than his music. So I think that, his influence on all of us, it's just, it runs so deep, it's hard to know.
He's like
it's part of our subconscious.
Like the great liberator.
Yeah, in a way, I think he sort of gave us permission to do these sort of irreverent things that maybe some other folks weren't doing before. So, yeah. And
of course, your festival is named after him.
Yes, with great respect to him, yes. Yes.
Phyllis, you think you could, if you have any time, you want to play us a little something?
Sure. I could play a little bit of something by the runner-up of this past call. Her name is Silvia Corda. She's a jazz pianist from Italy, and she wrote a piece for toy piano and dulcimer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Phyllis. Beautiful.
Thank you.
So now we're gonna. I think people can get tickets obviously through the website,
They can.
and but do we have something special maybe we can do today?
We do. I'd love to offer some 2 sets of 2 tickets to the whole festival, a festival pass to any event on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to any of you guys listening right now. We'd love to have some of your listeners out at the festival.
Very cool, Phyllis. So give us a call right now, 631-632-6901, 631-632-6901. Phyllis Chen, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here on WUSB.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll see you this week at the fest.
Yes, definitely.
Cool, see ya.
Bye.